I'm Britney McKay with the Beloit Janesville Symphony, and I'm here to tell you about an upcoming venture with the Beloit International Film Festival. On Saturday, February 22nd at 7:30 p.m. at the Eclipse Center in Beloit, the Silent Film Showcase will take place. And what's really awesome about this event is that the Beloit Janesville Symphony will be playing the score to 3 short silent films while they're played on a large screen. And this year, the 3 short films are all by Charlie Chaplin. We will be showing The Floor Walker, The Count, and Easy Streets. You can purchase tickets online by visiting the Beloit International Film Fest website, www.beloitfilmfest.org, or you can call into the office and purchase tickets by calling 608-313-1200. And tickets are $25 or 3 bifficates. So a reminder again, the concert takes place on February 22nd at 7:30 p.m. at the Eclipse Center in Beloit. And now I would like to welcome Gerard and Kristin Peterson to the show to tell you a little bit more about the Silent Film Showcase and the Film Fest in general. So welcome.
Hi, Brittany. Thanks for having us today.
Yeah. Oh, thank you guys for coming.
Chance for us to blow our BIFF horns. BIFF itself will be running from the 14th through the 23rd.
Right. Yeah. You guys extended this year.
Yeah, it's an expanded year. We're experimenting, trying to find new and inventive ways to make BIFF more interesting for our local and regional film goers.
Right.
And we're going into our 9th year, so we're trying to learn from past years,
right,
what works, what doesn't work, and what our film goers are asking for. And one of the things I think we felt was that film goers kind of feel compressed.
Yes.
The film festival is so compressed, they don't have time to see all the films that they'd like to see.
Right.
So this will give everybody a chance. We'll be showing fewer films this year. Kristin, how many films are we showing all together?
120, including short films.
Nice, nice. Well, personally, I'm excited that it's extended because I share that sentiment that it's kind of hard to get to everything that you want to see. You know, I would get that program guidebook out and I'd be like marking up every film that I wanted to see and, you know, every showing to try and squeeze them all in because, you know, if you live in this area and, you know, you have a job or family life, whatever you have going on, it's kind of hard to make it to everything that you want to see in the time frame. So
yeah,
I'm all about trying the 10 days.
And this year, I think it's really fortunate that we are extending it because I think you'd have to agree we've probably got the best grouping of films. We've got higher quality films this year than we've ever had before.
Right.
There's so many things that you're really, really going to want to see, and this will just give everybody a chance. Of course, the opening weekend is going to be focused on the Wisconsin-Illinois Filmmakers Showdown.
Right.
Kristin's kind of been heading that effort up.
About 70% of the films the first weekend are made in Wisconsin or Illinois or by Wisconsin filmmakers or Illinois filmmakers.
That's exciting.
So,
showcase the local talent.
It'll be really cool to have all of these regional filmmakers in the same space and holding discussions with the audiences.
Right, like a big creative think tank.
Yeah, so that'll be really interesting, seeing how that works out. This is the first year that basically any film festival in the area that has had kind of a regional spotlight. We're at the JATV studios as well, and they have 2 time slots of award winners, Best Public Access, Community Media.
Oh!
So that's,
Yay.
they're also involved with that as regional filmmakers.
Very cool. Okay, well, so learning a little bit more about your guys' involvement, how long have you guys been with BIFF, respectively? You can go
I've been here since the first year. I started as an operator, you know, starting films, running audiovisual for a couple of different venues in the first year. And in fact, I believe it was the first year when I ran the video for the first silent film we did when we used to do it at Eaton Chapel.
Oh,
cool. But since then, I've sort of graduated to a little more responsibility over the years. And my title is actually Operations Director, which, among other things, means making sure that all the venues have all the right equipment, being, overseeing manpower, making sure we've got enough people to staff things, making sure all the right stuff is in the right places at the right time, so that and it all works seamlessly.
Yes, it does.
Always.
Every year.
Awesome.
So, and then also in the off season, I'm in charge of making sure that what we call our film vault, where we keep all of our films organized, make sure that's organized, hound the filmmakers to get us copies of their films,
Right.
and make sure that each venue has the right films for each day.
Also,
And-
for BIFF year-round events, Greg is the lord of that. We have the outdoor screen from First National Bank. We do free movies in the summer, as well as at Bushel and Peck's in the spring and the fall. We show every Wednesday night the best films of the previous fest or of the coming fest.
Right.
Yeah, and the Bushel and Peck's venue, we've been showing primarily like some of the tastier films for BIFF 2014, and we actually offered our locals an opportunity to fill out comment cards and help us make choices and get a feel for whether or not we were on point with our choices.
Right.
Getting some early feedback, and it actually has been really valuable, I think.
Yeah, a lot of our decisions are based off of their
and-
votes.
Yeah, so so we're doing that. We're trying to keep BIFF in people's minds around here on a year-round basis.
Right. Very cool.
It's not just in February anymore.
Nope, not at all. Okay, so Kristin, a little bit about
Yes.
your involvement and background, how you
Um,
ended up at BIFF.
Well, it started when I was in high school 9 years ago, and my mother, she's been working with MNI, which is now BMO Harris, and they've always been the sponsor of the silent film, actually. So I've been to every single silent film
Right.
as a guest of the bank, and I fell in love with BIFF as it started. I would always, that's what we did in February. I'm from Janesville, so that's what we did in February. And then I went to college, and I realized I wanted to be a filmmaker. And I
Cool.
think a lot of that has to do with getting exposed to really great classic
Yeah.
and independent films.
You're like a BIFF success story.
Yeah, maybe, almost.
Oh, I think so.
And then 2 or 3 years ago, I made a film with some classmates, and it got into BIFF, and it was a mockumentary. So that was fun. And then the next year, I was graduating college, and I had no idea what I was going to do. So I called Rod, had met him for like 5 seconds beforehand. He's the executive director, Rod Bodwin. And I said, give me a job. And he's like, okay.
That's awesome.
And that was about a week ago last year. So I've been working as the creative director for BIFF for a year.
That's awesome.
And she's
That's a
doing
great
a
story.
smashing job.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think BIFF has kind of
We
penetrated my life.
Well, we operate with such a skeleton staff. I mean,
Right.
it's primarily Kristin, Rod Bodwin, the executive director, and myself.
And then our interns that
and then we've
cycle
got-
in and out.
We've got interns. Of course, there's this whole period of time between the middle of December and the middle of January when, I don't know, for some reason, interns all disappear and go home.
Wow.
Yeah, that's got to be tough.
So we're juggling. We're each juggling a lot of balls, trying to keep them in the air, and so it's getting to be go time. And
I think we are successful as such a skeleton staff, 3 people, because we have really involved board members and community members, and our venues are all really amazing people to work with. So it's a lot of people doing small things together to make this really big festival in a
Right,
small
to make
city.
it happen.
Yeah.
Everybody comes together well, right? Okay, so on to the Silent Film Showcase. Greg, you kind of hit on this earlier. It's been going on every year
yeah,
since it started.
Yeah, and it's really been kind of one of the, if not the, highlight of the festival.
Right, it's really cool.
Because it is such a unique experience. Rob Tomorrow, the conductor and music director for the symphony orchestra, puts together a small ensemble. It's generally somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 to 25 musicians, and he gets the scores for these silent films.
That'll be called Carl Davis for these
Carl
films.
Davis is that's the that's been our resource for many of these, because they do such a great job
Right.
of recreating these scores. And I guess it's really fun for the audience, because you get to see these great films, and the orchestra is parked right underneath the screen,
Right.
and they're just sort of in a glow of music stand lights, you know,
Mhm.
and you can watch the orchestra, and you can, you know, Rob doesn't use a click track or anything to follow these scores. He's strictly going on cues that are in the score and keeping an eye on the film and making sure, because there will be a little horn blast here or a little piano glissando here that sort of needs to match up with the screen.
Right, right.
It's always amazing to see how he manages to keep that
All on
running
its own.
in synchronization.
Can you tell us what a click track
Yes,
is
we were
for
talking
people who
about
don't
that
know?
earlier.
Oh, well, it would be, you know, each segment has a certain tempo that the music needs to run
Right.
at. And when you're scoring the film, you know, you've got a tempo, and you're watching, and you're making sure that the tempo and the feel of the music sort of lines up with the action on the screen.
Right. Okay.
Well, of course, in Rob's case, there is no click track to
Right,
go
so
off
he's
of. There's
doing it
there's
all
no
on his
little
own.
metronome kind of telling him what tempo he needs to be at. He is using his instincts and the score information.
So he has to know exactly what Charlie Chaplin's going to do.
Yeah, and he's got to be slowing that orchestra up or speeding that orchestra up, you know, to keep it right in sync. And I think that's just, that's amazing. I don't know.
Right. It's impressive.
It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's...
Pulling double duty, almost. You know.
And all those musicians have to be right on point, too, watching that stick. You know?
Right. Right.
So it's really fascinating. And the films, you know, whether you're a fan of silent films or you've never seen silent films before, it's just amazing the things that they did back in those early days of filmmaking, especially the stunt work and the slapstick humor, the visual, the sight gags, and all that stuff,
Right.
and just the comedy, sense of comedy. It has relevance. You know, you hear people of all ages laughing their
Definitely.
heads off,
Right.
you know, over the comedy that's in these things. And we've focused on Buster Keaton in the past. We've focused on Harold Lloyd in the past. We've focused also on Charlie Chaplin. I think those are probably the three main
Comedies.
artists that we've mainly used over the years.
And also, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, we did Metropolis,
Yeah.
Oh.
which is one of, like, if you haven't seen it, you have to see it. It's
Yeah.
one of those special films you have to see, and to see it with a large screen and an orchestra, there's no other way to watch it.
Right. Right. I would have loved to see that.
I know, it would be
We-
I've
awesome.
been there.
We showed Wings.
That was great too.
These are like films that sort of set the bar
Right. Right.
for those genres.
Very
Wings, of
important
course,
films.
in-flight
Yeah.
films, airplane
One of the
in-flight
best.
stunts, and
Mhm.
incredible camera work for the time.
And
You
the
know,
narrative was really strong too, all the characters.
and Metropolis is it's a morality play
Right.
that works, you know, generationally, and it is also considered like the granddaddy of sci-fi.
Right.
It is where
Yeah.
sci-fi sort of
Yeah,
got its
some
start.
Very important movie.
So this year we've decided to go back to the Chaplin vault,
Mm-hmm.
and we've got three. We're going to have three films. They're each about 20 minutes long.
Okay.
Somewhere in the midst of this, we're going to figure out a way to get an intermission in there, because I don't
nice.
want to forget about the fact that we are going to be having a massive silent auction
Yes, to benefit
Going-
the symphony.
to benefit the Symphony Orchestra. It's always a great display of really cool items that you can get for, you know, a song.
Mhm.
One item too we added this
Ooh,
year.
yeah, tell us about
Um,
it. This one's exciting.
So we have a brand new inflatable screen, outdoor screen, huge. We showed Lincoln on it. We showed Annie the musical on it for free. One of the prizes that you can
Bid on?
auction, bid on. That's the
Mhm.
word for it. Bid on. Is you can rent our screen, and we'll get you a film or a couple films that you want, and we'll set it up for you, we'll run it for you, and you can invite as many friends as you want.
Yeah.
To have a backyard.
Your own private showing.
Yeah. It's a really cool thing. So.
Yeah, that is a great
only
auction
one
item.
thing you can bid on. But
Right, there will be plenty more.
The films that we've chosen for the Chaplin presentation this year are The Floor Walker, which is Charlie Chaplin is the little tramp, and he's a customer at a department store, and he creates, of course, chaos, as he usually does. And in the midst of all of this, he uncovers a plot between the floor walker and the manager to embezzle money from the department store, and unwittingly, throws a wrench in their plans. And there's a great sequence in there with an escalator, of course, showing off the slapstick, physical humor, and that kind of thing. And then there is one called The Count,
Yep.
which is Charlie Chaplin as an assistant to a tailor, and he burns a hole in the Count's suit, and then the Count says he's not going to be at this event that night, so the tailor goes in his place as the Count, and somehow Charlie shows up there too, and then the Count shows up. So there's this whole kind of, you can imagine, hijinks, I think they call it. And then the third one is Easy Street, and that is Charlie again as little tramp, signing up to be part of a community watch organization to help clean up crime in a certain part of town. So he has a run-in with a bully, and he subdues him using a gas lamp of some kind, and of course, once again, hijinks ensues. So
and all three of these were made within a year and a half of each other.
Yeah, they're some of his
amazing.
first efforts with the Mutual Film Corporation.
Oh, cool.
And they were done in two of them in 1916 and one in 1917.
Yep, very cool. Very cool. Well, it'll be a good opportunity, I think, for patrons who think that symphonies only play classical music to see them playing something funny, because these, again, are all comedies, so it's different music for our musicians, but also for patrons of the symphony as well.
And I can't stress enough how rare it is to have this experience in a small town too.
Right.
Like, you have to go to New York to have this experience. It's really special.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's been kind of our little cool, unique part of the festival, and it's also
it's a gem.
Usually the best attended event. We've had upwards of 600 people at Eclipse in the past for this event.
Will it sell out? Will you be able to get tickets at the door, or?
Yes, you can get tickets at the door, but I would get tickets ahead of time. There were many years it was sold out.
Okay, so again, you can get tickets at
BeloitFilmFest.org. You just go to Film tab and then click on the silent film.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. So $25, BeloitFilmFest.org. If you want tickets, there may be some at the door. There may not.
Also, we should say that many of our filmmakers that come to visit for the film festival choose this event on that Saturday to go to.
Oh,
so you can run into some
rub elbows with some filmmakers.
And people from London and Hollywood and Brooklyn, and so it's a pretty fun event.
Mm-hmm.
And while it does sort of fall right in if you're going to commit, probably won't be able to see any other films during the evening, because that's going to be the one. But when you do finish the silent film, you can head downtown, because we will be featuring our BIFF Plus music.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about BIFF Plus music.
First of all, before BIFF Plus music starts at 10 o'clock, there's at 9 o'clock Saturday at Bushel and Peck's, there's the Audience Choice Award ceremony for all of the Wisconsin, Illinois films that were voted on by People's Choice, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just a 20-minute program starting at 9. All of the Wisconsin, Illinois filmmakers will be there to see who got the best, the funniest film, or the best Wisconsin film, and such like that. And that's right before BIFF Plus music.
And there's such a wacky group, these Wisconsin, Illinois filmmakers.
Right.
They don't get more interesting than that.
Yeah.
So you can spill out of the silent film, head down there, maybe catch a little tail end of the awards for the Wisconsin, Illinois filmmakers, and then you can take in the second annual BIFF Plus music presentation.
Mm-hmm.
And we started this last year. It's become kind of a trend in the film festival world.
Right. You want something to do after the film.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're not
and I
tired
think
yet.
it's a perfect marriage because you've suddenly all got a whole town filled with artists of all shapes and forms, and we use a service called Sonic Bids to attract talent from actually around the world, much in the same way.
Cool.
It's got an international and certainly across the United States, Pan America kind of vibe about it. We've drawn, last year we had acts from the East Coast, West Coast, all around the Midwest.
Wasn't there a Russian band?
Uh,
Serbian band?
I don't.
Somewhere where it's really cool.
Oh, the string quartet group, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah, they had some influences from overseas as well
Wow.
in that ensemble. This year, Brian Ramsey, the head of our parks department here in Beloit,
Mm-hmm.
is also the czar of BIFF Plus Music, and he's telling us he's got some fantastic bands. We've even expanded this a little bit for 2014. We had 3 venues last year. This year we're going to have 4 venues.
Oh, okay. So where
And
can you see BIFF Plus
You can
Music
see
at?
BIFF Plus Music at Bushel and Peck's,
Okay.
at Club Impulse,
Mm-hmm.
at Suds O'Hanahan's, and at Maryland Houston's Steakhouse.
And that's Friday and Saturday night, the 21st, the 22nd of February, 10 p.m. to 2 a.m.
Very cool.
And there will be 3 acts performing at each venue on each night.
Okay.
So you've got just a world of entertainment you've never seen before.
It's a very own Summerfest.
Right.
And
Downtown Beloit.
We attracted some really great acts last year that since BIFF Plus Music last year, a couple of the acts have been coming back to the area and playing venues in Milwaukee
Oh wow.
and Madison, back to Beloit. I mean, these are bands from Chicagoland, from the Twin Cities. They've kind of found a little temporary home here
Right.
Yeah.
because of their performance at BIFF Plus Music.
Yeah, that's really cool.
We should mention also it's a competition between the
It
bands.
is a competition. There are 3 awards given away, and there's a nice little cash prize attached to that
Very nice.
for the bands. And
And we have a very fun gimmick too. The bands can hype the audience. We have these little votes. You pay for votes.
Oh.
I forgot the certain amount, but it's like $5 for $2 or something.
Mhm.
You can put votes into these little boxes. Like, this band was really cool. Here's my vote, and the person with the most votes at each venue also gets a prize, a cash prize.
Oh, that's fun.
So that'll be fun. No cover charge this year as well.
Very cool.
yes, no
Wow.
cover charge. So it's a lot.
Free.
It's a lot of free, fresh, groovy entertainment. And I believe there will be a couple of local acts that'll be representing
Oh,
Beloit
fun.
there too, as we did last year. So our local music scene will have a chance to shine a little bit as
Right.
well. So I just think it's we used to do the BIFF After Dark things and have
Right.
a club, one of the clubs around town, sort of host. Well, this just makes the street just stays alive with pedestrians late into the night and early morning. All of our downtown merchants that are open, will have foot traffic, and it just seems a lot more user friendly. And it just keeps the downtown a happening place. More and more, we have tried to keep BIFF in general as a walkabout festival downtown,
Right.
and show off our great, ever improving
Yeah.
downtown aesthetic and our merchants.
And now
Mm.
where BIFF was in 3 cities last year, it was Rockford, Janesville, and Beloit. Now it's not only just in Beloit, but it's the 1.5 block of downtown Beloit. So
Oh, perfect.
everything is walkable.
Yeah, and we're not doing Janesville and Beloit at the same time, so the whole focus now during BIFF proper will be in Beloit. instead, we've been doing First Fridays. It's like another BIFF year-round kind of event in Rockford, and we're doing the Taste of BIFF here prior to the festival. Still spreading it all around the valley, but we felt it was important to put that focus on Beloit.
And not stretch the attention.
And also not have to stretch out and spread out our staff.
Right, your resources.
And everything, the resources. It makes it a lot more controllable, and I think it gives us a chance to give a better product and experience to the film goers.
It's also nice to add a couple venues too in downtown Beloit. We have Club Impulse. We also added my apartment, which is above the Villager Gallery, art gallery. So. And
Cafe Fromage is basically an all-new, sort of a renewed coffee house, a restaurant. It's combined with the cheese people of Beloit, so you get wine, cheese, great sandwiches,
really good coffee,
specialty beers, great coffee, and we've got a lower level and upper level at Cafe Fromage this year, so that's a new thing. Another new place for those who've been to BIFF year after year. You've got a couple of fresh places to check out and see great films in
the
more
venue
unique
does
environments.
have a big, effect on what you're watching and everything.
Yeah, and we did, in the programming process, we did put certain films in certain places. For example, what's a good example? Bushel and Peck's. We put kind of the irreverent comedies, the quirky stuff there.
Food. Beloit's always been a big a big fan of food films.
Right, why not?
The Lutefisk Wars comes to mind. Massive blockbuster for BIFF. So this year, we've done this somewhat in the past. This year, we've got the Golden Scallop, which will be showing at Bushel and Peck's, and they'll be doing a special fish fry, seafood. Golden Scallop is about it's a competition on the East Coast amongst 3 different seafood restaurants. And it's very funny, mockumentary.
It's much like This Is Spinal Tap.
Yeah,
kind of
Waiting for Guffman, any of those.
Similar to Lutefisk Wars, too.
Yeah.
We also have chicken wing. We have this documentary called The Great Chicken Wing Hunt.
Yeah.
These people, they get on a bus and they go all across America and they try to find the best chicken wing. And they're so sick of eating chicken wings. They have like 5 or 6 meals a day of just chicken wings, but they eventually find what they think is...
found them?
Yes. So that's showing at Bagels and More and Domenico's during the festival, and they're also making chicken wings.
Right.
So it's kind of a food and flick event, as well as the fish fry at Bushel and Peck's, and they might include mussels and scallops this year. So it's not just fish, but
we've also got a new component, the LGBT component to the festival this year. And so we're showing gay and lesbian films, transgender films. Some of that will be featured at Club Impulse, and we're trying to open the doors to that whole genre of films. And so for those film goers in the valley and the region that are interested in that sort of fare, we've got some of that for you this year, and there's even an awards category for it.
Wow.
And we're also featuring a drag show in conjunction with Club Impulse on Thursday the 20th. Thursday the 20th.
Very
After our BIFF Awards at the Eclipse Center. You can come on downtown.
To a drag show.
That night will be really amazing. So we have the award ceremony where we announce all of these award winners, and the filmmakers get up on stage and they talk about like thank you BIFF, and it's a really fun affair.
Yeah, it's the red carpet vibe of the Eclipse Center.
Amazing food. It's called a Night at the Big Easy. So we have decorations from Bourbon Street type stuff. The food will match that. We have drinks that match that. So it'll be really fun. And then after that award ceremony, we show I think 6 or 7 films at most of our venues. And then at 10 o'clock is our drag show.
That's awesome.
So and we call it the Filmmaker Appreciation Party. So a lot of our filmmakers will be there, and it's open for the public. And the drag queens will be dressed as movie icons too.
Oh yeah,
so that'll be a really big night.
Yeah, and there'll be film showing all over the downtown as well. So if the drag show isn't your bag, you still got plenty of other stuff to see. And yeah, it's a wealth of entertainment value, and we're nervous and excited and
Month and a half.
tired already. But we're gonna take our vitamins and we're gonna
Go Biff or go home.
go Biff or
I
go
like
home.
it.
Yeah.
Hashtag it.
Biff Nation.
Okay, well, again, thank you guys for coming on my show. I really appreciate it. Should we give one more shout out to the Silent Film Showcase?
Absolutely.
All right.
I'm also the operations director for the Symphony
Right.
Orchestra, so I've got a big stake in that
You
too.
do.
And we're really excited about having another great night up at Eclipse for that, and more great things coming, which I'm sure we'll have on your show in the future about new changes for the Symphony Orchestra coming up.
Big year.
We're not going to tell you anything about it yet, but
Just that there's a thing.
Yeah, there's a thing. It's a little thing.
You just go to the film schedule, you click on the film you want, and there's a little tickets button next to it. It's really right there. For the Silent Film Showcase as well, you can do that. Otherwise, if you purchase 4-packs or 6-packs of Bifficates, which are kind of gift certificates to like turn in for a ticket, that's 3 Bifficates for the silent film. You save money doing that, and you can purchase Bifficates as well online.
Very cool. And where will the box offices be set up for those who...
That'll be
Are
Vision
huge
Beloit,
fans.
which is on the corner of Public and Pleasant.
Okay, perfect. Well, so thanks again for coming on. Beautiful music and more, you guys.
Thank you for having us. We
Thank
really
you.
Oh,
appreciate it.
yeah.
You're such a great hostess.
Oh, thanks. I try. I really do. Okay, so I want to say thank you to our sponsors and, of course, JATV for allowing beautiful music and more to happen. We'll see you next time.